The digital world moves fast, and sometimes it feels like you are always one step behind. At its core, leadership is the integration of how we think, act, and live across business, work, and life. And in the digital world, adaptive leadership shows up in our ability to adjust, innovate, and effectively lead in a rapidly changing environment. Now, to expand this conversation further, on Mondays we turn our attention to the Listening Heart series, a spiritual theme viewed through a Christian and universal values lens. And on Wednesdays, our discussions turn to Coaching Talk series, which focuses on performance leadership in the traditional workplace. And today, our attention is on adaptive leadership in the digital world. Now, what gives me the right to talk about these things? Well, it really follows my life experience. From 6 years in a seminary under the guidance of Benedictine monks, to 18 years in government at the executive level, to owning my own consulting and training business to over 45 years, and finally to transition my work into the digital world over the past several years. Hello folks, I'm Richard Fontenay, and I'll be your host today. And if you're new to this podcast, welcome. And if you're returning, a heartfelt welcome back. And remember, we are all called to lead in some way, even if we don't have a formal leadership title. Today, we'll explore how to navigate digital conflict and stay committed to your strategy when everything around you is telling you to pivot. Now, before we go any further, take a moment to subscribe so you don't miss future episodes, and thank you for doing so. Now, let's get on with today's topic: digital conflict, trusting your strategy in a noisy world. Here's the challenge. Every day you are exposed to new ideas, new platforms, new strategies. And with that comes pressure. Pressure to change direction, pressure to try something new, and pressure to keep up. And this creates a form of conflict, not with others, but within yourself. Should I stay the course, or should I pivot? This is one of the most common struggles for at-home entrepreneurs. Let's bring clarity to it. Digital conflict happens when your long-term strategy collides with short-term distractions. And if you're not careful, you can lose focus. You start something, you stop, you start something else, and progress slows down. Adaptive leadership is not about constant change. It's about intentional change. Now, as my practice, let me give you 5 actionable strategies to help you stay grounded. First, anchor yourself in your core strategy. What is your primary platform? Who is your audience? What problem are you solving? If you cannot answer those questions clearly, everything else becomes noise. For example, if your strategy is to build an audience through consistent content, then jumping to every new trend will only dilute your efforts. And this, my friends, is the number one pitfall for every home-based business I know, including yours truly. So make sure you stick to this first strategy, because clarity creates confidence. Second, distinguish between data and distraction. Now, data informs decisions. Distraction creates confusion. Look at your metrics. What is actually working? And if something is producing results, then stay with it. If not, adjust, but do so intentionally. Do not pivot based on emotion. Pivot based on evidence. So always track your data, as it provides you with the evidence that you need to pivot. Third, commit to consistency before change. Now, most strategies fail not because they are wrong, but because people often abandon them too soon. Give your strategy time to work. Consistency builds momentum. Momentum builds results. An at-home entrepreneur once shared that they changed their content direction every 2 weeks, and she saw no growth. When she finally committed to one approach for 3 months, her engagement increased significantly. Consistency made the difference. Fourth, create decision points. Instead of reacting daily, set specific times to evaluate your strategies, whether that's weekly or monthly. Ask yourself what is working, what needs adjustment. Now, I have had these questions consistently each month and have reviewed the data my products provide. And these questions prevent impulsive decisions, and it keeps you grounded. Fifth, manage your mindset. And digital leadership is as much mental as it is tactical. You will see others succeed. You will compare. You will question your path. And that's normal. But remember this: you are building your business and not theirs. So stay focused on your journey. Let me share a story with you. An at-home entrepreneur started a simple email newsletter. At first, growth was slow. They saw others gaining followers quickly on social media and felt tempted to pivot. But instead, they stayed consistent, week after week, month after month, and over time, their audience grew. Not overnight, but steadily. And eventually, that newsletter became their primary source of income. That is the power of staying the course. Here's another example. A digital marketer focused on one platform, while others spreading themselves across multiple channels. And this individual doubled down on one. She learned it deeply. She refined her message. And over time, she became known for her consistency and clarity. That is adaptive leadership in the digital space. Now let's make this practical for you. Here is a simple action plan you can follow. Step 1, define your primary strategy and write it down. Step 2, identify your key metrics and know what success looks like. Step 3, commit to a time frame, 30 days or 60 days. And step 4, evaluate at the end of that period and not before. And step 5, adjust with intention. Now, this approach keeps you focused. It reduces stress and it builds confidence. Now, if you're just starting out, here is what you should focus on. You do not need to do everything at once. You need to do a few things well. So start simple. Choose one platform, create consistent content, engage with your audience, and that's enough. Growth will come, but it takes time. And this is where leadership comes in. Because leadership is not about reacting to every new opportunity. It's about staying committed to what matters most. even when it's difficult, even when you don't think you're getting anywhere, and even when you're tempted to change direction. So the next time you feel that internal conflict, pause and ask yourself, am I responding to data or am I reacting to distractions? Those questions alone can change your direction. And remember, you are not behind. You are building one step at a time, one decision at a time, one consistent action at a time. And here is an axiom to keep in mind. In digital marketing, adaptive leadership is what builds trust. And trust builds everything. Remember, sustainable excellence is built in rhythms and not marathons. Now, if this conversation resonated with you, please subscribe, like, and refer to a friend. And thank you for doing so. I'm Richard Fontenay, signing off for now. Join me next week on Digital Marketing Secrets as we focus on why it is so important to shift from clicks to people. See you then. Bye for now.